So I'm here in San Diego for the Traffic and Conversion Conference, one that I've never been to before, because this year I'm trying to go to a different set of conferences. So I'm not going to a few of my usual ones, stuff like MicroConf, Bacon Biz. I am still going to go to WDS. That's the World Domination Summit, which is just a great conference. Mainly in this video, I want to talk about how to get the most out of a conference. The point is get to a specific list of people who you want to meet at the conference. Because the best thing isn't the sessions, it's who you can meet. And I think of it like a checklist. You know, who do I actually want to talk to? And I go down that list until I meet everyone. Quiet morning at the Boise airport at 5:40 in the morning. Headed to San Diego this morning and just gonna eat some breakfast and write some code before I go. One thing that's great about Boise is I can leave my house an hour before the flight leaves, and it takes 12 minutes or so to get to the airport, 4 minutes for security, and then I have to walk like 10 gates. It's not bad. There are only 3 people in the first class cabin. Apparently it takes no frequent flyer status to get a seat in first class today, and no one in Boise is a frequent flyer. I have silver status with Delta, and yeah. Checked into the hotel and started to feel the impact of staying up late, getting up early, and then traveling. But the first thing that I do before I get into town is I look up the attendee list beforehand, or as close to that as I can come. Okay, the next thing is a lot of conferences don't list the attendee list, but they will have all of the speakers. So if there are particular speakers that you want to see and that you want to have a chance to talk to, list those out. Like, don't just, you don't want to talk to every single speaker, but who specifically, list that out in advance. Another thing that you can do is, sometimes there's a Facebook group for the conference that you'll see people posting in, or just check out the hashtags on Twitter, or follow people who you think might be there, ask around. Now that you have that list, reach out to all of them in advance. Hey, really love this thing that you did. Just wanted to mention, I'm going to be at X conference, saw that you're going to be there, would love to meet if you have time. After you do that, they might say, yeah, absolutely, that'd be great to meet. But most likely they'll just say, okay, which is like the friendly way of not committing to anything. Then what happens is you have a few of these touch points leading up to the conference. And then when you do actually, come up and talk to them after their talk, they might actually remember you, they might know who you are, or that, they might be looking for you. Okay, the next thing is pay attention to the most common areas that people walk. So for example, I went to the Social Media Marketing World conference, and I noticed that the way they do it is this one long hallway in the San Diego Convention Center. And so everybody's walking this one direction. Actually, the building's a loop, but I don't think anybody knew that. During the breaks and when everyone's out there, you can walk the reverse direction and just look for people you recognize or groups that might be interesting to join. And then that way you can stop someone and say hi. I ran into a lot of people who I'd had little connections with online, but hadn't actually, had an in-person conversation with. And finally, and probably the most valuable thing, is to host dinners. So if you're meeting with someone, don't just say like, hey, I'd love to pick your brain over coffee or something like that. That's not going to go over well. But what you can do is you can host a dinner and say, hey, I'm inviting these speakers, I'm inviting a few different people, etc. Though be careful what you do on the name dropping side of things. That can get annoying. But put together a good group, curate a great group, and that'll make it easier to find people who might be interested. Talk to people in advance. Once you start to meet people, it gets a lot easier. The other thing, the biggest conference hack ever, isn't anything that happens at the conference. It's the work that happens, a year, 2 years prior to the conference that you put into building up your online platform. Because the first conference that I attended after having a blog that was actually read by people, was fantastic because people wanted to come up and talk to me. So that's the biggest shortcut, is the work you put into the audience up front and early on. I'm off to lunch with a few people because I texted some friends and they said, hey, join us at lunch. So I hope that helps.